I thank you for this opportunity to talk about a little bit of my story. My name is Pearl Devers. I was born and raised in Palm Springs. My father, who was a carpenter, helped to build Section 14. And this section of the town holds a lot of memories for me, both good and bad. I lived in that home that my dad built with 4 other siblings. We had a wonderful community surrounded by loving family who cared for each other, whether you were Black, Mexican, Filipino, or whatever. It did not matter. We built this city. We built the golf courses. We dug the cesspools. We built hotels. We helped build this city. Living in Section 14, life was great. Went to church, went to school. We felt loved and protected. It was fun. My mom worked as a maid for celebrities such as Lucille Ball. My parents and the parents of the rest of the Section 14 survivors and descendants were hard-working, tax-paying citizens of this city. And they loved and nurtured and provided for us. One day, seemed like out of nowhere, my life changed when my mom and my 2 brothers and I had to leave our home. We left my dad behind in the home. It was not going down without a fight. I did not know at that time that my family would be split forever. We saw the fires. We smelled the smoke. Families and friends and neighbors began to disappear slowly. I looked around and my community was gone. Then I began to miss my father. I never understood it as a child, but later my mom said, "Your father was devastated by the destruction of the home that he had built. He was a good man. All he ever wanted to do was to provide for his family." The families were and still are hurting from this cruel action. Their stories make me cry. One survivor's only wish was to have been able to see a photo of his father. Their belongings were burned in the fires. Another survivor holds dear a keychain that was owned by her father with the address of Section 14 on it. A home that her dad had built after working long days at a lumber yard and began to bring the lumber home piece by piece on a bicycle that he rode to work because he had no car. Every survivor has a story. But I would like to say that today I applaud the survivors and the descendants for their resilience and unity in the face of the adversity and this astounding incident. It's very sad to see those who were not affected dismiss our pain and struggle caused by an unjust act. Today, we call for recognition. Today, we stand and we emphasize the importance of recognizing our historical significance of Section 14 and the need for justice. It is very important for the visitors that come to Palm Springs to know the full history. Born and raised in Palm Springs, wherever I go, and I've been to a few places, people ask me, "Where are you from?" I say Palm Springs. And they say, "Oh, I didn't even know there were Black people that lived in Palm Springs." Well, that opened the door. Let me tell you, not only did we live here, we helped build the city. We do remain hopeful that the City Council will do the right thing, but we are ready to fight if they don't.
Thank you so much, Pearl, for those inspiring words. And again, it's so important that everyone shares this campaign. Know before you go Palm Springs. We've actually printed cards that we're going to pass out today, and we pass it out for the rest of the month so that everyone can get engaged. The information that you will learn when you go to the landing page for this campaign is information that should have been made readily available to everyone in this town. And it is a California Attorney General report that called the burning out of Section 14 a city-engineered holocaust. Those were the words of the Attorney General that came into Palm Springs in the late 1960s and did an investigation of the actions of the city and wrote a scathing report. Many people haven't even seen that report, but that's a report that's a public document that everyone should have access to. So when you go to the KnowBeforeYouGoPalmSprings.com website, you're going to find that report. And make sure you are in a good place when you read it, because it is so incredibly disappointing to see what the city did to this community because of no fault of their own. Hardworking people who did nothing to deserve being racially targeted, being racially subjected to dispossession of their land just because of the color of their skin. You're also going to find a human rights report, a report written by the Human Rights Commission for the city of Palm Springs. So anyone in the city that tells you that we're making this up or that this didn't happen, the city itself did its own investigation, and its Human Rights Commission report validates and substantiates every fact about the racial atrocity of Section 14. So again, all of this public information, we want everyone to have access to it. And this is about the economic well-being of the entire city of Palm Springs, the region of the Coachella Valley. And so we're so grateful to be standing in solidarity today with business owners and with members of the clergy who are supportive of the efforts of the survivors and the descendants as they seek reparative justice. And I want everyone to know that despite the narrative that's been put forth that somehow the survivors and the descendants were trying to take something away from the cities, at some point people were using the words bankrupt the city of Palm Springs. That's fake news. That's a false narrative. That's a misstatement of the facts. We've been doing everything to the contrary. We've been talking to the city about how we can help make this city more economically viable, how we can build things in the city like a cultural center, like a center for racial healing that would bring thousands and thousands of new visitors into Palm Springs and bring more economic opportunities for the business owners and for the businesses of Palm Springs. The Section 14 survivors and descendants, they love this city. And we've been working hard with the city, trying to show them the incredible opportunities that exist if they work with the families. We've been talking to our state legislators, we've been talking to philanthropic organizations, universities, and they all want to come into Palm Springs, but they want to come into a Palm Springs that has done the right thing, that has provided justice to those that they've harmed. And if we can get the city council to open its eyes to the possibilities, Palm Springs can be the best city in this region, bar none, because of the families of Section 14. When they start to hear from their tourists coming from New York and New Jersey, when they start to hear from people coming from European countries and from around the globe, they will get the message that Black and brown people right here in Palm Springs matter. And now that we've found our voices and we've lifted our voices from the Washington Post to the BBC to the Associated Press, there's no turning around. There's no going back. We're going to keep fighting and fighting for justice. And I guarantee you that in the end, everyone in this community, everyone's lives, everyone's conditions will be made better because of the advocacy, because of the work, because of the tireless dedication of the survivors and descendants of Section 14.